السلام عليكم. فيديو اليوم عن الساموراي بشكل عام. صورت المقدمة من بعد ما عملت الفيديو، صورت مقدمة بقلب الفيديو لأنه الصوت هيدا المايك جايبه ب10 دولار تقريبا، فهيدا المايك معفن كتير، لازم ألزق فيه هيك علشان يعطي يعطي صوت منيح يعني. فبتمنى انه يعجبكم الفيديو وسلكولي على الصوت، وصلوني 1000 مشترك علشان جيب مايك جديد. الله، يلا خلينا نبدأ.
Run.
Perhaps one of the strongest symbols of strength, courage, and Japan itself. These warriors were feared on any battlefield. They destroyed any foe they encountered, and even when greatly outnumbered, they were prepared to die for what they believed in, for the honor of their name and for their country. But through radical modernization, much of history has been forgotten. The samurai has become little more than a symbol, a character in a textbook, or a scene in a Hollywood film. Today, the samurais have dwindled to just a few, and hidden on a forgotten island in Japan is one of them. I don't know what I'll find, but I do know this. I want to discover what remains of this Japanese legend, and to train under the sensei, so I can understand what truly makes a samurai.
Sensei.
This is Tsushima Island, an island caught between two worlds, between Japan and Korea, and between modern life and a forgotten past. It's no coincidence Sensei lives here, because this isn't just any island. It was once a samurai stronghold and a battlefield. In 1274, Tsushima Island became the first line of defense against the Mongol Empire, a full-scale invasion. Hundreds of ships and thousands of soldiers swarmed the beaches. The only thing that stood in their way were 80 brave samurais, outnumbered but not outmatched. They fought, and all of them died. Not all stories have happy endings, but Japan held on and pushed out the invaders. But it wouldn't be that simple. Many years later, they would return again, but this time, the story was different. The word kamikaze means spirit of the wind, and as the samurais of Tsushima held the Mongols out at sea, a great storm came and sent countless more running home. The blood of samurais can be found across this island, and so can their teachings.
It's almost become a distant memory of Japan. Luckily, there are still a few holding on to the traditions, and one of them is right there.
Hello, Sensei Zen. Good to see you.
Very grateful to be here.
Thank you very much. So excited.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for so much coming. This is a special island.
When I arrived, I expected to see swords swinging, sharpened katanas clashing against armor. But what I found here was completely different. The training was almost zen-like, and the people learning from Sensei, they weren't Japanese. They came from everywhere. White, black, men, women. By the river, I watched them. They studied Sensei like his every breath had meaning. Some for weeks, and others for months. I couldn't help but wonder, what were they here to learn? The answer didn't reveal itself immediately, but I had a few days to shadow Sensei. That night, we checked into a traditional Japanese home.
She's so cute. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is her actual home, and she opens it up for travelers, and I'm so happy right now. This is why you travel.
Just paper walls, wooden floors with a mattress that sat on the ground, and a quiet I rarely hear.
Yeah. It's nice.
We were greeted by the local family.
Thank you.
Your water.
Hot. Okay.
Yes. Me too. Nice. Good choice. Beer's a good choice. Yeah.
كنت عم بحكي هون انه وصلوني 1000 مشترك علشان صور لكم محتوى بلا 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 باليابان.
Every day. That's good. Keep the doctor away.
And quickly, I saw it was going to be a fun challenge to communicate. Naturally, we turned to the most advanced translator known to man, Google.
Oh, the pass.
魚の販売をしてました。日本各地
I
へ
was selling fish.
Oh.
Dinner became an adventure in gestures, guessing, voice commands, and you know what? Everything somehow made sense, and our dinner was full of laughter. There's a Japanese saying, Ishigo Ishi, and it means one life, one meeting. And really what it means is to appreciate every fleeting moment because
انت عم بقول هون واو اليابان كتير حلوة ياي بس
it'll probably only happen once. That dinner, I'll never forget it. The next morning, we woke up before the light. Outside, the sky began to shift, soft orange spilling over the horizon. I guess that's why they call it the land of the rising sun. And there they were, Sensei and his students training in silence as the sun rose and the winds blew through the field. No one spoke, no one filmed. Except me. I filmed everything, but from a very respectful distance.
A beautiful morning here in Tsushima Island. Right behind me here is what you'd see in a typical day with Sensei. He trains from about 6 a.m. right when the sun comes over those mountains all the way through till it basically goes back down.
I would have my moment to train with Sensei, but for now, I was just here to observe and see what I could learn. After training, I had my moment to finally connect with Sensei, and I had to ask, what had happened to the samurais? And why was this central piece of Japan dying? Well, the answer was not what I expected.
We lose a war. After the atomic bomb, around 9 years, samurai wisdom and technique, it was illegal.
هون كنت عم ترجم شو حكوا انه من بعد هيروشيما وهيديك القنبلتين النوويتين من امريكا اختفى السموراي واختفت الدنيا كلها بس.
He told me that after World War II, the Americans didn't only drop a bomb. They banned the sword, and they banned the way of the samurai. Any martial arts tied to the samurai code were completely outlawed. The movements, the mindset, the spirit, all forbidden. But his father and his father's father, they refused to let it die.
Some families and some styles go under the ground keeping a training using a fan dance.
Yep.
This looks like dance, but it's a samurai movement. They are hiding the techniques.
At first, they trained using fans, disguising sword movements as a dance. It wasn't just tradition, it was resistance. Now, this ban lasted 7 years. Doesn't sound like long, but it was long enough to have its impact. And now, with the modernization of Japan, a totally new set of cultural beliefs and traditions have taken over, leaving history by the wayside. And today, the responsibility to keep the way of the samurai lives with Sensei Zen.
My mission is I have to keeping this tradition, spread this tradition all over the world, and how to connecting the next generation samurai wisdom and tradition. Samurai people is they are top of the society. That's why their most important purpose and not to fight. Always just keeping a peace and balance. This is most important way of thinking.
I felt beyond lucky to have this moment with him. Now, before we could train, we were told there was one thing we had to do first, and that was climb Shirataki, the sacred mountain of Tsushima. Sensei wouldn't be joining us. This wasn't about technique or sword work. It was about presence, breath, and connecting with the island.
So this trail brings you to what's considered to be one of the most sacred places in Tsushima Island, and also one of the tallest peaks. I was told you would feel an energy when you got here, and maybe it's a bit early, but it is absolutely energizing being here. But we gotta go before the rains get here.
From the start, the hike was no joke. What started off as a sweat turned to an endurance challenge. The incline got steeper and steeper, and the skies darkened.
Japanese culture is fascinating. It's good to have guides, because I can tell you right now I would have blown right through this gate not knowing that you actually have to pay your respects first, because this is a tori, and it is a shrine. These basically are representations of the deities, the spirits of Tsushima. And so to pay your respects, Koki, can you show me one more time?
Two rays. 1, 2. 2 touch. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
And now?
Okay.
Okay.
No. Okay.
You're like Spider-Man.
Oh,
Spider Yamaguchi.
Spider Yamaguchi. Spider Yamaguchi.
And then it all came down. The rain, the kamikaze, or the spirit of the wind came crashing down. It was trying to wash us off this mountain. We slipped and kind of laughed. And we questioned whether it was time to turn back, but we were so close. One of the local guides told me, the mountain gives you what you need, not what you want. And maybe that's what this was. A test of presence and a moment to truly feel everything around me. Hey, if you're enjoying this video, I've got just one small favor. It's completely free, and that is that you leave a like. It really means a lot to my team and I, and it helps us understand if we're making the right content for you. All right, back to it.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Aww,
Aww.
that is so cute.
He made it.
Oh my god.
Oh, thank you.
Later that day, Sensei invited me to meet him at a sacred place. Hidden away between trees, tories, and an enchanted footpath was the White Mountain Temple.
Where we've just entered is one of the most magical places I think I've ever seen. Little light leaks, purple flowers, a fairy tale in here. And today, my brief but hopefully meaningful training with Sensei Zen begins.
There was a special feeling here. At the end of this walkway, there was an old wooden building with a slanted roof surrounded by a beautiful forest.
This area is behind this shrine. There's a small mountain, White Dragon Mountain. Local people believe and White Dragon is living there. Okay, that's why, okay, if go into the mountain, you have to die. That's why over 1,500 years untouched.
Today was the day I would train under the ways of the samurai. Sensei handed me this clothing, and I was pretty excited to get dressed. He explained that before the sword, there must be silence. And in that silence, you must meet yourself. We sat in silence, breathing, listening. Now my mind is always a bit of a chaotic mess, and when I'm quiet long enough, it gets even louder. But he led me through a meditation, and slowly the noises started to fall away. And that's when I started to realize this wouldn't be a journey of swords and clashing armor. There was something deeper, and I think I was just beginning to feel it for myself. After our meditation, Sensei stood up, gestured for me to follow him. He began walking slowly through the temple while telling me the stories of this sacred place.
And we have, first education, we have to understand about how to die. Yeah, this is not negative meaning because you know, and samurai people sometimes they have to do seppuku for the honor and for the responsibility, right? And samurai wife is also last moment emergency situation, they have to die herself. They are not afraid about the death. They are always very deep accept to the death. That's why automatically they are accept to the life.
Death and life, war and peace. Sensei told me that the way of the samurai is balance in all things. And in our modern world, I truly appreciate Sensei's traditional wisdoms. And one story that I thought was particularly fascinating.
Shrine is a womb. That's why it's a gate. It's described about the vagina. You have to bow and respect and go into the vagina. And okay, you go inside and so many like a bush here. It's described the hair. And there's a water place. You have to wash. It's mean wet. And this road, it is called sando in Japanese. This one, two rings. Okay, this is like a symbol of the man. No, the two ball.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And this is like a sorry, it's a penis.
yeah.
And shaking. Okay. After that, through the coin.
Yeah.
It's explosion.
Oh, really?
And
Wow.
pray.
Yeah.
And okay, and go back, you
Yeah.
become a reborn. Yeah, that's this concept of the womb.
Just outside the shrine, Sensei stopped suddenly and placed his hand on a tree. Its trunk was twisted, scarred, and if you looked up, it had an evil-looking presence. He called it the Goblin Tree.
If you pray to this tree and touch this tree eat your negative energy and darkness, right? That's why this looks like a goblin, right? But at the same time, this is a holy tree.
This is a place where you can leave what no longer serves you. All you need
هون عم بيقول له إذا بتلمس الشجرة بيصير عندك قوة خارقة. واو. القوة الخارقة التي لا تقهر.
To do is place your hand on the tree. I didn't expect to feel anything, but when I pressed my hand to the bark, something shifted. Maybe it was the storm still clinging to me, or the silence of the forest, but I felt something, and I felt lighter. He nodded to me as if I was finally ready. Sensei handed me my sword. Well, it's kind of a big stick, but I didn't feel that way. As I gripped the hilt, I could feel my heartbeat in my hands. My stance shaky, my breath uneven, but underneath all this uncertainty was excitement. I mean, come on, this is a childhood dream come true. I just hoped I wouldn't screw it up.
Kadidan, exhale from the mouth. Inhale, exhale. Overhead, exhale. Chip. Go.
After showing me the basics, Sensei stepped forward. This time, he wasn't holding the wooden stick, he was holding his katana, forged with precision. I stepped back and watched the master not only control his sword, but the world around him. Sensei moved with total control. Every step, every
أصلوني ألف مشترك.
breath, intentional. You don't just watch something like that, you feel it. It wasn't just a weapon. This was an extension of him. What he showed me was what decades of discipline actually looks like. This trip truly felt poetic. From the storm, the stillness, the sword. But nothing could have prepared me for this. Sensei brought me back to the river where it all began. He didn't say much. He rolled out a massive piece of paper. He sat down and began a ritual. And after a long pause, he began to write. The same grace he held the blade.
عم بلكن هون بتعرفوا هيدي الحركة اللي بتعملوها هي كانت للنينجا، والنينجا كانوا يستعملوها بلا 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 إلى آخره. ما عادش راح أرجع أعيد كلامي لأنه راح كله سلاطة. سلام.
He told me the sword and the brush are two of the same. The goal in these movements is not to think, but to be. To empty the mind completely so that all that remains is movement. Each stroke unplanned. And in that place, between full control and complete surrender, that is where the samurai lives. In perfect harmony and balance. The yin and the yang. Sadly, there's almost no one left in Japan keeping the way of the samurai alive, but Sensei Zen is one of them. He's not just teaching self-defense and swordsmanship, he carries the weight of a tradition on his shoulders. And without him and a few brave others, these ways could be completely lost into the wind. And if there's one thing I took away from this trip, it's that being a samurai was never just about battle. It wasn't about defeating the opponent. It was about silencing your inner noise, your inner demons. And in a world that's louder than ever, that was the golden lesson. And it's definitely one I'll be bringing back home with me. Let's get lost again in the next one.
لكم هون بتمنى انكم استمتعتوا بالفيديو. ما تنسوا تحطوا لايك واشتراك وتفعلوا زر التنبيه، واهم شي توصلوني 1000 مشترك. ياي بدي احرق ديبو للمايك. ووهو